I started.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a moment here, just a moment or two to get my notes ready, and then I'll be right with you.
Yep.
Good.
Okay, yay, it's time. The time you have wanted and prayed for is here. Okay, before you get started, how many of you have done this before in 204?
I have.
That's it. I knew I had at least one. McKay, didn't you?
Gosh, I think she's the only one.
Yeah, I think I'm the
Yeah.
only one.
Okay. Well, hopefully you shared your notes with them. As you know, I do make a large feedback report that I share with you. It is one of the 3 components of the grade for tonight. Each of these are equally weighted, 33.33%. And as you are presenting, I'll be taking a lot of notes that I'll roughly get up into a nice report that I will submit to you, hopefully as soon as tomorrow, provided I have the other component, which is your peer evaluation. Your peer evaluation you should do hopefully as soon as you can, right after the meeting would be great. If you can't do it tonight, then hopefully tomorrow morning. The final piece of the puzzle is the number of funding requests that are approved, and I do give you that number tonight at the end of the meeting. So you'll have at least a third of your grade. Looks like you're recording. That's great, because I always get contacted in about a year or two from students who need this. So share that amongst yourself, because I don't keep a copy. Did you have any questions for me?
Nope.
I think so.
Nope.
Good. Mute myself. If I have a question, I'll grab the mic and butt in appropriately. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Megabucks. My name is Jorge Garcia, and on behalf of the San Jose Consulting Group, I would like to extend a warm welcome to you and thank you for your time and consideration in funding our projects, which we are excited to present to you this evening. The San Jose Consulting Group consists of the following 6 partners: Chelsea Grant, Michaela McIntyre, Katie McKeon, Beatrice Kug, and Tina Schmidt, and myself. Over the past several months, our firm has worked closely with partnering libraries to identify some deficiencies in their ability to provide the communities they serve with a valuable collection that could fulfill their informational needs. We have identified several improvements which we will be presenting to you throughout this evening for possible assistance with funding. We are confident that these changes will not only improve the collections and services that these libraries offer, but will also help the members of the communities they serve in fulfilling their lifelong goals. The first library we visited was the Carlsbad City Library Center. This two-story branch dedicates its first floor to a small collection, with the primary focus being Spanish language materials, and the second floor to its literacy department. Our first observation was the dated signage throughout the branch, and in some areas, a complete absence of signs or wayfindings. As seen in these images, the signs are dated and unappealing throughout the building. The patrons are immediately left wondering where to go next as they walk through the door, and the mostly unstaffed reception desk leaves the patrons feeling lost. Once past the reception area, there is a complete lack of signage to direct patrons to the different collections available at the library, creating a need for patrons to find a staff member to help guide them throughout the building. Our proposal is to invest in a complete wayfinding overhaul that will include both signs to direct patrons as they come through the door, and also signs that will help patrons find the different collections throughout the building, similar to these seen in these images. The new signs will be modern and eye-catching in order to draw attention to the different collections and will be highly visible, reducing the need for staff intervention. In addition to the directional signs, we propose to purchase acrylic sign holders that can be placed at the ends of the bookshelves to help guide patrons to their desired collection. These sign holders are customizable and can be designed and modified by staff in case of a shift or movement in the collections. In the current model, there's nothing in place that helps to differentiate the varying collections, making it difficult for patrons to find the materials they are looking for. Our proposed improvements will have an estimate cost of $17,500, with $15,000 allocated to the wayfinding overhaul and $2,500 dedicated to purchasing 40 acrylic sign holders for the bookshelves. These enhancements will not only help patrons find the materials they are looking for in a more efficient way, but will also help increase the circulation of materials at the branch. By doing this, we are confident that the improvements will play a big role in fulfilling the informational needs of the community.
How did your team decide regarding the signs, what signs would be placed where, what those signs would say, etc.?
So as you come in the entrance of that library, there's like absolutely no signs that show like the direction, like literacy department upstairs, Spanish collection towards the back. So we thought like something right at the entrance to direct them where to go, either upstairs or downstairs for the collection of books. And then once inside, as you saw on the shelf ends, there's like no like Dewey Decimal numbers or anything, and there's no overhanging signs that show where different collections are. I mean, they have like a small teen collection, adult collection, and there was just nothing throughout the library.
So the library staff would be the ones who are deciding what these signs would say and where they would be hung.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So on to our next, so the second observation our team identified as a possible improvement was the reception area of the library. We felt that the use of a reference desk and a reception desk in the same area was a waste of valuable space that could be used for a marketplace area for the library. Libraries are turning their focus to this marketplace or bookstore model to make it easier for patrons to browse the collection, since it has been proven successful for major bookstores such as Barnes & Noble. The Carlsbad Learning Center is very limited in space and suffers from overcrowded shelves due to the footprint of the branch. The reception area is filled with unnecessary service desks, a hold shelf, and a return cabinet that take up a good amount of space in the lobby area of the library. Our proposal would be to remove the two desks, creating an open space that can be used to house some of the collection. Once the desks and return cabinet have been removed, the proposal would include the purchase of 3 display tables as seen in these images, which can house new and featured materials, and a movable service kiosk. The display tables will be extremely helpful in relieving some of the impacted shelves in the main collection area. The movable service kiosk could be placed anywhere in the library, and staff would have the ability to rove throughout the floor, assisting patrons where needed. This marketplace model will not only help with impacted shelving, but will also help display new material, creating a better circulation flow. In addition to the tables and kiosks, we propose to purchase a self-return shelf and a second self-check kiosk identical to the one they have in operation currently. The RFID-equipped self-return shelf will serve as a recently returned bookcase that patrons can browse through to find the most popular items being returned. The patrons can then check out the materials on the self-check kiosk without staff ever having to touch the items, thus improving the circulation of material. These self-service kiosks can be strategically placed near the exit to create a better flow as patrons enter and leave the branch, enhancing the user experience. The total cost of these improvements would be about $78,950, which includes all furniture, RFID equipment, and labor to remove existing desks and prepare for new installations. We as a consulting group believe that these changes will allow the library to present a more user-focused experience to the community it serves. The marketplace model will help users interact with the collection and the library staff more effectively while improving the circulation and flow of materials. Thank you, and I will now pass it off to my colleague, Katie.
Thank you. In Northern California, we visited Quest City Library, a two-story public library that was recently renovated. While the library organization and signage were excellent, patrons were still having trouble navigating the library. The reference desk librarians were receiving a high number of directional questions, and when patrons used the catalog to retrieve a call number, they had no idea where to find the item. Call numbers are not intuitive to many patrons who are unfamiliar with library terminology or layouts. Plus, the newly renovated library layout is different from what patrons were used to. We want to assist patrons with better navigating the library and would like to propose that Quest City Library join dozens of other tech-forward libraries who have signed up for StackMap, a digital platform with collection mapping. The library catalog will be connected to StackMap, and item results in the catalog will give the call number followed by a link titled Map It, which provides a map of the library with the book location marked with a Google Maps type pin. The map also includes information on the floor number or key signage to look for. StackMap will improve discoverability of collection items and improve the usability of the collection, which will in turn increase circulation statistics. At University College Dublin in Ireland, they found that 25% of their desk queries were directional, or patrons asking, "Where can I find this book?" After implementing StackMap into their library, the library noticed a 45% reduction in queries related to finding books, allowing librarians to focus their efforts on more reference needs while patrons still located what they were looking for. Ireland is not the only international location where a university has implemented StackMap. Bill Kent University in Turkey, RMIT University in Australia, and University of Manitoba and Polytechnic Montreal in Canada all use StackMap to better help patrons navigate their library collections. StackMap is not just for university libraries, though. The Darien Public Library and the Hartford Public Library in Connecticut both use StackMap as well. The Hartford Public Library has 4 stories and a history center, and the collection has been moved around a lot over the past couple years. Patrons were often confused on where things were, and StackMap helps patrons avoid roaming around and instead find what they are looking for quickly, avoiding frustration at the library. Along with StackMap, we would like to install a large touchscreen kiosk at the entrance of each level of the library. These kiosks can be connected to the catalog so patrons can easily search for items and use StackMap right there on the kiosk. 4 additional, slightly smaller kiosks will be placed throughout the library at convenient locations for the same purpose. Providing StackMap for the Quest City Library patrons shows them that the library cares about helping them navigate the collection effectively. It also meets users where they are by providing a technology that is familiar because it looks similar to Google Maps and other map apps. StackMap also empowers patrons and helps them feel confident and avoid frustration while navigating the library. Using StackMap is a method to improve patrons' chances of finding the material they are looking for. While some maintenance is required over time as books are acquired or library organization is changed, it's simple for librarians to use the admin interface to update the maps. The time that StackMap saves librarians and patrons is far greater than the time it takes to set up or maintain. The setup cost for StackMap is $8,000. There's also a smaller annual fee of $1,500. We would like to ask for funds to cover a 5-year contract. After 5 years, the library will evaluate the effectiveness of the product, and if they choose to continue, they will then budget funds to cover the annual fee each year. Additionally, the larger kiosks at the 2 entrances cost $3,900 each, and the 4 smaller kiosks are $2,700 each. We would like to ask for $34,100 total in funds to make these purchases, allowing the Quest City Library collection to be more accessible to their patrons. I'll now turn the time over to Tina.
Thanks, Katie. Let's take a look at the Magdalena Public Library. The Magdalena Public Library is located in an area of New Mexico with low socioeconomic growth and a low high school graduation rate. The community is looking for a way to help adults obtain their GED so they can achieve higher paying jobs in the community. After doing a community analysis, we were able to determine that New Mexico has one of the lowest graduation rates at 72%, as stated by US News. This community needs a way for its citizens to climb out of poverty and obtain higher paying jobs. We believe the library can work with the community to solve this need. With the opportunity for adult citizens to get their GEDs, this goal can be reached. Most GED grads demonstrate resilience in the face of adversity, and they want to work in careers that serve others in their community. We feel the solution is to offer the Essential Education online program, GED Academy, for GED preparation online to the patrons. Along with offering that program, we would like to add these workbooks and study guides for reading, writing, and math to our circulating collection. By purchasing these books and materials to go along with the online GED program, we will be fulfilling the needs of this community. Each bundle includes a set of study materials covering the subjects tested in the GED. We feel this is the best solution because it brings the community and the library together for a common good. The library's collection currently does not provide the materials to support these adult learners in their journey to obtain their GED. By expanding the collection to include these workbooks and study guides, the library can support the patrons' efforts and strengthen the community. It serves the need in the community by giving adults the chance to earn their GEDs and make their lives better, not only for themselves and their families, but also the community as a whole. We are proposing that the Magdalena Public Library purchase 20 bundles of study materials for their circulating collection. Each bundle costs $163. We would also like to purchase 40 online seat licenses at the cost of around $40. Not all subjects are studied at the same time, so 20 bundles of materials will be sufficient for 40 students. We would like to run this program with your help for a total of 5 years. We would also like to set up a scholarship fund for those who qualify on a need basis. The cost is about $38 per test. One student must take a total of 4 tests to acquire the GED. This money would help make Magdalena Public Library a community resource with materials that directly benefit adult learners and strengthen the surrounding community. We are asking for a total not to exceed $40,000. Next, let's hear from Michaela.
Thanks, Tina. Following the Magdalena Public Library, the team and I visited the Chowchilla Public Library in the Central Valley of California. For the most part, we were satisfied with our visit and felt the library had many great things to offer its patrons. 2 areas, however, caught our attention, the first of which was the civil services material. This image is of one corner of one shelf, and as you can see, the material is scarce and not in the best condition. The Chowchilla community, similar to the Magdalena community, is generally low income and agrarian and trade focused. Many of the citizens are immigrants, and many of the kids do not finish high school due to various reasons, such as needing to make money to provide for younger siblings or get themselves out of unsafe home environments. Knowing this information, we were shocked to find the materials for civil services in such short supply. In the last few years alone, handfuls of kids in this community have joined the military, gone into law enforcement, become first responders, started repair or engineering businesses, gone into farming, and so much more. To have this little information on all of those trades or fields is a disservice to the kids who need that information to better their circumstances. Just as Tina said of the Magdalena service area, There are also many adults in this community who are wanting to work towards earning their GEDs or study for college entrance exams or study to take an administrative exam to get work with the city, and they just start finding what they need in the library. To satisfy the growing needs of this community for resource materials regarding these many career and educational goals, we are requesting funds not to exceed $8,000 for the purchase of current study materials and manuals for exams such as the ASVAB, GRE, CBEST, LSAT, and First Responders and Law Enforcement Academy exams, just to name a few. By supplying this community with the necessary tools, resources, and information they need to succeed, not only will the library see more turnover in this material, but the community will see a development in their citizens and in their workforce. The second issue we found at the Chowchilla Library was a lack of a teen space, and arguably more important, the lack of an updated and relevant teen collection. This is an image of the current teen space in the Chowchilla Library. These 4 bays make up the entire teen collection, and most of it is really outdated. Many series are missing books, and there is not a good representation of every genre, as the collection is majoritively fantasy. The library refers to these bays as the teen space, which caught us off guard because the bookcase of books marketed towards teens does not equate a teen space. What is even more unfortunate is the location of this bay. It sits between 2 adult genres separated on one side by a walkway and at the front of the library where the librarian can supervise any teens who do venture in. We propose that the teen collection be moved into a seldomly used conference room where teens can have a little privacy to make noise, enjoy time with their friends, and work on homework or personal projects. In this room, we envision something like you see here, simple yet efficient. We would like to update and expand the collection to include full series, a sample of every genre, and we would like to create a manga and graphic novel collection, which currently does not exist. We are requesting funds to purchase shelving, seating, teen-only technology such as laptops, and an entertainment center equipped with an Xbox, tablets, and cameras, art materials for the promotion of a maker space, and a vending machine and drinking fountain. To complete this project, we are requesting funds not to exceed $75,000, $50,000 to be dedicated to the teen space redesign, and $25,000 for the improvements to the collection. Remaining funds should be allocated for future collection building, the replenishment of the art supplies, the vending machine fees, and any technology repairs or replacements that should arise. We are more than confident that with these improvements, not only will it add value to the library, but it will seriously increase the circulation statistics of the teen collection. Most importantly, these improvements will inspire teens in the community to spend their time utilizing the library, which will establish a long-lasting love and appreciation for all the library has to offer. I'll now pass this on to Chelsea.
Thank you, Michaela. Unlike the Chowchilla Public Library and its missing teen space, the North Park Library has a wonderful and dedicated children's section for its young patrons. However, we observed the children's materials were not being displayed effectively to capture the interest of the patrons. Adding new fixtures will help showcase new materials being acquired, as well as highlighted books, and will help increase appeal for the children as well as adults. This will directly impact the circulation of the children's materials. We propose purchasing 25 book stands to use to display picture books on top of the fiction stacks in the children's section. Currently, this space is not being utilized at all. This is visually jarring and creates what is commonly referred to in merchandising practices as dead space. The children and the adults who use this section of the library are subconsciously overlooking this area because it hasn't been effectively merchandised. The cost for each unit would be $2. Our second proposal would be to purchase 4 rotating tabletop displays or new board books. These displays would allow the covers to be showcased effectively, and the fixtures would be located above the board book section and would be labeled appropriately. The cost for each unit would be $450. Our third proposal is to purchase 4 new shelving units that will allow picture books to face outward so patrons can see the covers. These will be highlighted at the entrance to the children's section and will be the first thing the patrons will see. Bookstores know that 50% of shoppers buy the first thing they pick up. That's why they give so much of their selling space to face-forward displays. These fixtures can be used to highlight new books, books for current holidays, any material that is relevant for the children's services at any given time. Each unit will be $400, which brings the total estimate to $1,600. The grand total for all fixtures to implement the redesign is approximately $3,500. The new displays and shelving units will make the children's collection more visible to patrons, thus increasing excitement and about the collection as well as circulation. And now we'll hear from Tina.
Thanks, Chelsea. It's time to take a look at the Louvieres Public Library Children's Collection. Louvieres Public Library has a children's collection that needs new energy. Circulation is not where it should be because the books in the collection are insufficient. Our proposal is to energize the children's collection with current and fresh materials that involve an electronic component. Fixing this problem is critical. Providing children with quality material can change their lives. When children are read to, they are building knowledge. They are learning language skills, kindergarten readiness, and reading skills. When toddlers are read to, thousands of cells in their brains respond in a matter of seconds. Instilling a love of reading at an early age can inspire children to be lifelong readers and lifelong learners. The solution to this problem for Louvieres Public Library is Wonderbooks. Every Wonderbook is a print book with a preloaded audiobook player permanently bound to the inside cover. They are self-contained, shelf-ready, and circulate like a print book. They are available for children ages 3 to 13. The Wonderbook collection features hundreds of read-alongs, including picture books, easy readers, early chapter books, nonfiction, and Spanish titles. Research was done to see what other similar libraries were experiencing with their Wonderbook collections. Douglas County libraries began circulating Wonderbooks at the beginning of this year. They have been wildly successful, as this table illustrates. You can see by looking at this table that Wonderbooks have been extremely popular and have checked out more than both picture books and books with CDs. Wonderbooks are flying off the shelf and the patrons are begging for more. Douglas County libraries are currently purchasing even more Wonderbooks to enhance their collection. We are proposing that Louvieres starts with a Wonderbook collection of 80 picture books, 30 early readers, 25 early chapter books, 20 nonfiction, and 20 Spanish titles. Each book costs between $40 and $45. In our budget, we are requesting additional funds to replace books that become damaged and purchase more books in the future as new Wonderbook titles become available. To solve the children's book collection problems at Louvieres, we are requesting funds not to exceed $10,000. Next, we will hear from Beatrice.
Thank you, Tina. A few months ago, we visited Sycamore Library, a library located in the suburbs of Los Angeles. An issue we found at this library was its small Spanish and Korean children's collection. Sycamore Library is located in an affluent city with a foreign population that is mainly Chinese, Spanish, and Korean. In addition, roughly 15% of the population is aged 0 to 14. As the Chinese population is the largest, the Chinese children's collection occupies 2 bookcases, is relevant, and is updated. The Spanish and Korean collections, however, only have 1 bookcase each, and as seen in the image, the collections are alarmingly sparse and haven't been updated with new materials for quite some time. In the Spanish collection, there are a few translated versions of popular English books, such as The Very Hungry Caterpillar. However, there are almost none for the Korean collection, which only has a few books from the Harry Potter series. To help Sycamore Library meet the needs of these 2 demographics, we propose adding more Spanish and Korean children's books. More specifically, we aim to acquire 35 picture books, 30 fiction books, and 25 nonfiction books for the Spanish collection, and 30 picture books, 30 fiction books, and 20 nonfiction books for the Korean collection. The books will include popular Spanish and Korean books, as well as translated versions of popular English series, such as Diary of a Wimpy Kid. To find popular and relevant books for both collections, we plan on relying on online bestseller lists as well as members of the community. To obtain these books for the Spanish and Korean collections, websites and bookstores will be used if the books cannot be provided by Sycamore Library's primary vendor. Including the book fees, we would like to ask for additional funds to cover unexpected fees, possible duplicates, and delivery fees. These fees are not to exceed $5,100. Overall, we request a total of $7,090 to expand Sycamore Library's Spanish and Korean children's collections. By adding more books, Sycamore Library will be able to help children in these communities immerse themselves in books that can help them appreciate and learn their native languages from an early age. In addition, these updated collections will signal to the broader Spanish and Korean communities within the city that Sycamore Library cares about their needs. After we visited Sycamore Library, we made our way to Pantera Library, a mid-sized library just a few minutes away. It's known for being very popular with the locals due to its collections and various programs. The issue we would like to bring to your attention today is this library's slow and inefficient circulation. The library's return books are both checked in and sorted by hand, which is very time-consuming. This manual system is particularly inefficient during peak hours and especially during the summers. As books aren't making it back to their proper shelves fast enough, patrons experience difficulty finding the books that they need and want. So to solve this issue, we recommend purchasing TechLogic's UltraSort automated materials handling system, which consists of an exterior and interior book drop, conveyance, and smart bins. All the mentioned parts allow for a more streamlined circulation system. For example, the exterior book drop allows materials to be checked in and sorted at any time. Both the exterior and interior book drops can accept multiple materials at once because they can be unstacked by the de-shingler technology. Other libraries that have installed UltraSort over the years are Hennepin County Library, Seattle Public Library, and Chicago Public Library. Many libraries, both large and small, report that investing in an AMH system was a great decision that significantly reduced their return to shelf times and reduced staff hours spent checking in and sorting materials. As the system comes with special patent technology such as the de-shingler and smart bins, we would like to stress that this system is head and shoulders above typical AMH systems used at other libraries in terms of efficiency and user convenience. The cost for a 7-bin sorting system from TechLogic is about $264,000. There is a first-year warranty, and the subsequent years have an annual maintenance fee of about $8,000. For this library, we are requesting enough fees to cover the first 5 annual maintenance fees. In total, we would like to ask for $304,000 in funds to help Pantera Library solve its inefficient circulation issue. Through your kind investment, this library will be able to afford a reliable automatic sorting system, which can lead to materials making it back to their shelves faster and will allow patrons to enjoy even more access to the library's collections. I will now turn the time back over to Jorge.
Thank you, ladies. The total cost for these 10 proposals we have presented here this evening would be about $578,140. We strongly believe that your financial support to fund these projects would directly strengthen the collections and services of all the libraries presented this evening and would help to better serve the communities. Mr. Megabucks, we genuinely thank you for your time this evening and for considering our proposals. We would now like to turn the time over to you for any questions you may have.
Thank you. See, oh, you did that within 30 minutes. Excellent. I can't let you get away that easy. So let's talk about teens for a second. Why are teens so important to your library?
The teens of Chowchilla, there's so many teens here. It's a small community, and our library, my graduating class, I mean, for most people, the graduating class of 300 kids is not big, but for our town, that is quite a substantial amount of kids. And I don't think I've ever seen a teenager in the library in the 25 years I've lived here. The community doesn't have anywhere for the kids to go. They hang out at Starbucks or they hang out elsewhere in town, just like doing whatever they can do. And most of the time it's getting into trouble. So having a place for them to go that's safe, and they can go after school, after hours, and hang out with their friends and just have a space that's just theirs is really important, especially if we're trying to get our teens to read more or to focus on their art more. We have a lot of artists in our community. And so having a space like this would be really great to cultivate that kind of love and relationship with the library, and also have a safe place for them to go.
It's great for the teens. What is in it for the library, though?
Other than having increased circulation numbers, having more patrons, having more parents get involved in having, events and programs we don't even have programs for the teens. We have a lot of children's programs, but we don't have anything that's just geared toward the teens. It just gives parents peace of mind, and it gives the librarians, another area of focus and another area that they can build their patron reservoir and build their collection.
Can I chime in?
Of course.
Yeah.
So at the Oceanside Public Library, they have a teen partner where they're teen volunteers that come in, and part of we've seen a lot of the teen partners become employees of the library and go on, and go into library school, and so building community and build like Michaela said it nicely, that having them being an integral part of library, which the library is part of the community, then success for both sides.
And I should add also that in another library near my town, they have like a teen council that is in charge of doing the programs for the kids, or doing programs and service volunteers for the community. So having the teens get involved in the library is also a great way for them to get involved in the community as well and give back.
Yeah, building advocates seems to be your success lane there.
Mm-hmm.
A teen advocate today will obviously be an adult voter tomorrow, and if you can catch them when they're an advocate today, they'll hopefully support you in the event of a budget issue or ballot measure. So, okay, good. A couple of your requests were revolved around buying a certain number of collections, which is smart. And I think getting money to purchase material for those types of collections would be an awesome way for you to build that collection and make it great right now and perhaps a couple of years into the future. But what about those collections longer term? What do you see? I, as a funder, am kind of worried that, okay, yeah, I give you this money, you build this great collection, but in 5 or 10 years, it's back to being a crappy collection, and my money's being wasted, or my money was wasted. So what sort of assurance can you give that the library will continue to support these sorts of collections? That makes sense?
Yeah, well, I think we are generally working with libraries that have staff that are very involved and want to make a difference in their communities. And the collections that we're focused on improving are not just, something that we think they should do. It's something that they genuinely believe in and they want to continue. And I think with staff on board and engaged in these efforts, it's going to help make this a longer term thing, because the staff are going to be evaluating the success and determining what needs to continue to be done. And it's kind of something that's going to carry on with time as they continue to evaluate the use of the materials and keep going. So I think we have really good staff at these libraries that are going to continue keeping an eye on them.
Well, if we have, I'm sure you have good staff. See, I'm really rattling your cages now. That's good.
No, of course. Can I chime in?
You have great staff. So let's take the languages collection for instance. How did it get to this point where they had so few materials and the community wasn't being represented, those languages weren't being represented? And okay, I'm going to give you this money. You're going to go out and you're going to buy $5,000 worth of material for that language. What about the future? How do I know that your staff doesn't completely forget them again.
So what I would envision that would happen at these libraries is the success of the collections and the staff, like Katie said, the outstanding staff that's going to be promoting the material, that's going to be really pushing the material, and it's going to be shown in the numbers with circulation. And then like the library director can go to city council and either request an increase of budget or look for grants to apply for to build those collections and continue those collections, building on them, hopefully from the success of the circulation.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was missing there. And the fact that, maybe you're working with staff on how to get grants and how to reallocate your budget, your collection budget in the future so that these collections don't go unattended ever again.
Absolutely.
There was I think it was in regards to Stack Map. I might be wrong there, but you said after 5 years, you were asking for funds for 5 year subscription, and then you would evaluate the effectiveness to see how it continues. Now, a little red flag went up in my mind because that tells me you're not sure about how effective this would be. And if you're not sure it's effective, why should I give you the money for it?
That's a great question. I think it was maybe improperly worded by me. And what I think I intended to say was the library is going to look after 5 years and say, this has been a great product for us. Where are we going to find the funds to continue to do this? And luckily with your investment, they'll have 5 years to kind of start making room in the budget, knowing that that will come up in the future. And they will be able to fit in those funds or receive funds from their foundation or friends of the library to help support them in the efforts, because it's definitely going to make a huge difference in the library to have that kind of technology that patrons will love, and to help everyone just know how the library is organized and help them find things more easily.
Great. You're not going to evaluate the effectiveness, you're going to evaluate how to continue funding the Stack Map. You know of other platforms or programs? I believe Stack Map is open source or proprietary, and there's not sure of any other vendors that provide it. So are you aware of it?
I have not found other vendors, but I have looked at other libraries that have done their own system. I looked at a library website where they had a map system and it wasn't through Stack Map. I think they created their own map and things like that, but through Stack Map, it's a lot more of a centralized system that's going to be easier for the library in general to maintain over time because the system will already be established.
Let me see if I've aggravated you enough. Let's talk about signage. We're going to come back to this in class. I'm talking to you now as Mr. Disher, not as Mr. Megabucks, but when we talk about marketing, and one of the things we'll talk about is the fact that sometimes the worst people to make signage are librarians because of the fact that they say things like reference, which the average Joe doesn't quite know what that means, and circulation. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Right.
We'll talk about an author named Paco Underhill. Is an amazing consultant, written several best-selling books, Why We Buy, The Call of Them All. They've been on the New York Times bestseller list 10, 15 years ago. Anyways, he owns a consulting firm, much like a signage consulting firm, where they assist retail shops and organizations like Nordstrom's and McDonald's. And one of the things he says in that is that he's often astonished about the millions of dollars that these retail shops will pour into making the most amazing looking signs that have the best looking burgers, just when you want to chew it, and they'll turn right around and hang it in the worst spot in the whole building. So I'm worried that you cut yourself short a little. I obviously will fund. I think it's extremely important, as you were saying, wayfinding in libraries.
Right.
But I think what you would probably need to do is to get like a signage consultant, much like Paco Underhill, who would come in and do a sign audit of your library to see what signs you have, what signs are not working, what signs are hung in the wrong places, what kind of questions are you constantly getting. One of the things that Paco Underhill's crew does is they basically stand at the front door with a map of a library or a building and have somebody just kind of with a pen mark where this person goes throughout that building. And they'll do that for 3 or 4 hours, and eventually you'll have on this map a very solid line of how a majority of the people move through a building. He calls this the power aisle. And having that be a spot where you focus your attention in terms of marketing and signage. So I wish you would have thought bigger on that. I'm not damaged. I'm just kind of sharing this information with you.
Yeah, of course.
Not really penalizing you.
Right.
So I guess the signage consultant would also, the worst thing, I don't know if you've seen it, probably in some of the libraries you visited. How many libraries did you visit where the first thing you see when you come up to the library on the front door is usually a sign that's taped on that says something like no cell phones, no eating, no drinking, no.
Right.
And it's the worst place to hang a sign, because the last thing a person is doing when they're entering a building is looking at a sign on the front door. They're putting their keys in their purse, they're taking their sunglasses off, they're corralling their kids around them. They're not looking at a sign on the front door. Another thing that a signage consultant could do for you is explore digital signage and interactive signage, because people want different things. They come into a building, they want to know where children's department is, or do they want to know where the teen department is? And if you have a sign that says children's department that way, how does that address the teen issues? So having an interactive sign where you could poke at things and get your own customized information off of that. Also, I don't know that you gave enough money to also include in that would be outdoor signage, a digital sign. Let me show with you. Can you maybe stop sharing and allow me to share something?
Of course.
All right. Here it is. This is a library that I worked at 10 years ago, and down on the very, can you see it on the whiteboard? Do you see?
Yeah.
Okay. Down on the bottom left, there's an outdoor signage.
Right.
One of the things that people tell consultants often is that, I pass by this library every day for 5 days a week, and it always looks the same. There's always the same signage out there. There's always the same building. It's always the same stuff. So obviously the stuff inside that building never changes either. So having this outdoor signage where the information on that sign can change, I was able to change it from my desktop and push images out there, etc. You've probably seen these at sporting events or at schools and all that sort of stuff. They're very popular.
Right.
Change the messages on them to speak to certain things throughout the day or even the week. This particular sign, we had the consultant we had the signage vendor match the architecture of the building, and it was actually $70 grand. It was quite expensive. So when I saw your request for like $15 grand for signs, I thought, ooh, that's a little low. But think bigger next time, and you'll keep these things in mind too, and we'll come back to it with our marketing.
Of course.
Okay, you can go back to your share if you want. Let's see. I guess that's all I can do for you. I got about 3 pages of notes here, so I'll get this into some rational format for you. And as for today, I'll go ahead and fund all 10 of your projects. Oh, you're my first 10 today. 10 out of 10. Good.
Nice.
Okay, so this will. Oh, now it's your turn. Do your peer evaluation. The peer evaluation, there's a link to the form if you want to use that. You can submit that to graded assignment number 5. That's the only thing I need is that peer evaluation. You don't need to give me any of your slides or anything like that. If you don't want to actually do the form, you just want to write it out free form, feel free to do that. I just provided the form as an easy way for you to do it. But do it as soon as you can, because obviously I can't assign anybody a grade until I get everybody's peer evaluation. So, okay, any questions?
No?
No.
No. All
Thank you
right.
for your time.
Have a good
Thank you,
rest
Mr.
of your day.
Megabucks.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.